it's just one of those things that you happen to see, okay? And for me personally, seeing kind of the fluctuation that people talk about, how these games go and how they sell and things like that, I think it really speaks volumes for a lot of different things. And what I mean by that is, okay, so if we go back and we look at how Game Pass impacts certain sales, like let's say third party, okay? Because I can remember when Major League Baseball, the show, had good sales and was on top of the NPD and stuff like that. Everybody's like, see, Game Pass doesn't hurt sales, but there was no breakdown really of how many copies were actually sold on Xbox. So we don't really know. So basically, for big third-party games day and date, even something like Outriders, which now we find out underperformed. So even though that was hit the NPD as well, we don't know what it sold on Xbox. So to go and say, oh well, big third-party games releasing day and date doesn't hurt their sales on Game Pass, we the information is spotty at best. And the fact of the matter is, Phil Spencer has lied, and so many Xbox fanboys have lied. It's crazy. I want to get into this though. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I certainly appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel and it means a lot to me personally. Like I said, liking the video, most important thing. Very much important. So with that being said, I find this to be very interesting. Very interesting to say the least, and very interesting because I find it to be hilarious. So, everybody was real high on the whole Game Pass helps your game sales, blah, blah, blah. And now we're starting to see that that's not necessarily the case. And I've been on this train for a long time saying this, in particular, big AAA games, particular Xbox games, right? And you didn't need long, a long time to realize this. 2 years ago, Gears of War 5 came out, completely bombed on the NPD, completely bombed in sales, and, we never even got an update on quote-unquote players. They built the game around Game Pass, which they promised they wouldn't do, and, the hardcore left it, and the casuals weren't going to stick around in something like that, because it's too hard, even with the adjustments to bring in casuals, it's too hard for casuals to really stick around. So you had a game that really wasn't made for anybody. Unfortunate, really. And with that being said, there's other instances where we see stuff like this happen, and people kind of just lie about it. Like, let's look at Psychonauts 2. Okay, Psychonauts 2 had 5 or 6 days to be on the NPD. Yes, digital only, but digital counts. And if you're buying a game or you claim you're going to play a game, then you buy it and you play it. So how come Psychonauts didn't end in the top 20 on NPD? How come it didn't? It's in the top, out of the top 40 on the most played games. Like, who out there is misleading others? Is it like this Xbox fanboy type that says they're going to play something or says they're going to buy something and then doesn't? Or is it just that the game was never that popular to begin with and people are just kind of capping for it because it's strictly Xbox and scored well, right? Like, that's the thing that I don't understand. Returnal. Xbox fanboys bash Returnal, said it only sold whatever it was, 550,000, 600,000, whatever it was, right? But that game hit the top 10 NPD despite only being available 1 day in April. And it still did that. Psychonauts failed to do that. And by judging by the oldness of some of the games in Game Pass or on the top 20, I find it hard to believe that you would have to think that Psychonauts didn't even do 20,000. Didn't even do 20,000 in my opinion. So, again, this game is available on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and, didn't do anything. And if we go back to Phil Spencer's comments, he says Game Pass leads to more game sales. Phil Spencer had to say about the service after a show in an interview with Level Up Spencer says that putting games on Game Pass actually increases sales of individual games. He goes, this seems counterintuitive, as a $10 Game Pass subscription gives subscribers access to any game on Game Pass without actually purchasing it. But Spencer says the reason is because Game Pass players effectively function as word-of-mouth advertising for the game, prompting those without Game Pass to buy it. He says when you put a game like Forza Horizon 4 on Game Pass, you instantly have more players of the game, which is actually leading to more sales of the game. He says some people have questioned that, but when State of Decay 2 launched, you saw, if you looked in the US at the NPD, you saw this game selling really well the month it launched on Game Pass. You say, well, isn't everyone just going to subscribe for $10 and go play this thing? But no, gamers find things to play based on what everybody else is playing. What's number one? This interview is a couple years old. What's number one on Mixer? What's number one on Twitch? What's my friends list saying? What are people saying on Discord? They go everywhere to see. When these games hit something like Game Pass with all these players, it instantly raises awareness. Now, he's doubled down on this more than a couple times and kind of talked about it as a matter of fact, hey, it helps more sales or whatever. First of all, I don't think that's the case, because if I know somebody who's like, oh, what are you playing? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm playing this game on Game Pass. Oh, I should go buy it. And I'll be like, what are you, an idiot? You can get 1 million months of Game Pass for $1. You know what I mean? Like, literally, that would be the conversation, right? Why buy it? And you see more people talk like this, right? There was that issue with like a lot of peers and all those other people are like, I'm never buying a game again. I literally run into people on my timeline time and time again who say they are never ever buying a video game again, and they haven't bought a game in a year or 2 years, 3 years, because they only play what's in Game Pass. And I'm like, man, I really, really honestly feel bad for you. And the reason why I feel bad for you is because at the end of the day, you're missing out on so many great games that aren't ever going to come to Game Pass, let alone day one. What kind of self-respecting gamer lets a game be out for a year, 2 year, whatever, or hopes that it comes to some service instead of just buying the game? I don't understand that. Like, listen, video games have always been kind of an expensive hobby. So I just find it so ironic and so interesting when so many people out there in the world obviously think this way. I can't understand it. Like, how could you, hey, I'm going to play Madden a year after it's relevant, or, FIFA a year after it's relevant, or, there is no Call of Duty, but, again, it's like, I don't understand this. Like, everybody said that they were going to play. Everybody said that they were going to play, Flight Simulator, right? And then they didn't. Everybody's like, oh, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge, And, what happened? Nobody bought it. It didn't never hit the NPD. It's not in the top 50 on Xbox. You had people that capped for it and swore up and down they were going to play it for a long time. They flew for 5 minutes, got a 5-minute achievement, and then never went back to it. Just like I said. So to me, you've got all these Xbox fanboys swearing up and down they're going to buy these games. They didn't. You got all these Xbox fanboys mocking something like the Death Stranding director's cut, right? And then what happened? That game shot up from number 110 to number 2 on the NPD at $70. Everybody's like, nobody wants to pay $70. Well, apparently more people want to pay $70 for that game than we're willing to play, even for free, basically, Psychonauts 2, or pay $60 for it. I mean, people are saying this is a Game of the Year candidate, but yet they're not willing to pay for it or buy it or even play it in a subscription service. Like, this has always been an issue with Xbox fans. Even back when I was, pimping Xbox and I'm like, Sunset Overdrive, it's great. I couldn't even get people to buy into it because it's because it wasn't something that they felt was a good game for them, right? It's like, damn, I don't understand it. In fact, it's gotten to the point that for my own health and well-being, I started blocking people on social media who turned the other cheek to, to anything Microsoft does. I just don't understand the people that are so forgiving and okay with launching a lackluster game, you know, or that promise that they're going to buy something or say they're going to buy something, and then don't buy it. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Honestly, it doesn't. So, you know, with that being said, this is just how I feel. It's like, again, even harken back to the video I did the other day. Xbox fanboys are a huge reason that, you know, that the brand is in the shape that it's in. I don't understand the thought process behind it, unfortunately. So, you know, but I would like to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on it. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of weird ones. Thanks for watching. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up, crap gamer out.